Hi, welcome back. We've got a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to be traveling from the middle of Missouri to the middle of Oklahoma. So let's get started. From Cuba, Missouri, we head down the road to the Devil's Elbow and the Monger Moss sandwich shop. In the early 1920s, a bridge was built across the Big Piney River near Devil's Elbow. In the late 20s, Nellie Munger and her husband, Emmett Moss, built the Monger Moss sandwich shop on the original 1926 alignment of Route 66. There were even cabins built out back for the people to stay the night, but the Big Piney River kept consuming the cabins. In the mid-1940s, Route 66 was rerouted and the sandwich shop was bypassed. Munger and Moss sold the property and the building to Paul Thompson, and in 1946, Paul opened it as the Elbow Inn Bar and Barbecue. The Thompsons ran the Elbow Inn until 1977, when the property was converted to apartments. In 1997, it was opened again as a bar, and in 2006, Terry Robertson and his wife Susie, shown here, leased the building and continued running the Elbow Inn Bar and Barbecue until 2019. The Thompsons have taken back over the Elbow Inn and plan on giving the place a facelift to rehabilitate it to its original Monger Moss appearance from the 1950s. As we head from Devil's Elbow to Lebanon, we follow the rest of the Monger Moss story. While the Monger Moss building was sold to the Thompsons, the name Monger Moss was sold to Pete and Jesse Hudson. The Hudsons built the Monger Moss Motel here in Lebanon in 1946 and ran it until 1971, when the current owners Bob and Ramona Lehman bought it. Heading from Lebanon into Springfield, we find more accommodations from the glory days of the Mother Road. Mary and Hillary Brightwell opened the Resthaven Court Motel in 1947. At that time, like many motor courts on the Mother Road, it was made up of cottages. Over the years, the original four got added to, and eventually the cottages were linked together to form the current motel. The Brightwells sold the motel in 1979. You might recognize the design of the sign out front, which is similar to the Monger Moss Motel and the original Holiday Inn Motel from that same period. Further into Springfield, we come to the Rock Fountain Court. Built in 1945 by Mac McCandless, in the individual cottage style of the 1930s, there are 9 cottages faced with Ozark sandstone in a semicircle. There was once a real rock fountain in the center, but now that is gone. The motel changed owners a number of times, and one owner, Sherman Nutt, changed its name to the Melinda Court after a member of his family. It went through a few more owners and is now a long-term apartment rental property. From Springfield, we head west to the town of Carthage, Missouri. Arthur and Ilda Boots opened the streamlined modern Art Deco Boots Court in 1939. Each room featured a covered carport. The motel was expanded by adding the back building with 5 rooms, and in 1948, Rachel Asplin and her husband Reuben purchased the motel. She operated it until her death in 1991. Supposedly Clark Gable and Mickey Mantle, along with others, stayed here over the years. The motel fell into decline until 2011, when sisters Deborah Harvey and Priscilla Bledsaw purchased it and have restored it to what it is today. We leave Missouri and head into the very short section of Route 66 that passes through Kansas, and we come to the Rainbow Curve Bridge. Also known as the Rainbow Arch Bridge, this is the last remaining marsh arch-style bridge on Route 66. Just down the road from the bridge, we come into the city of Baxter Springs. The Baxter Springs Phillips 66 station was built in 1930 and bought by the Phillips Petroleum Company in the fall of that year. As we discussed in previous episodes, this station in its Tudor cottage style followed other gas stations in an attempt to blend into community neighborhoods. It was restored in 2007 and is now home of the Kansas Route 66 Visitor Center. Entering Oklahoma, we travel down the original alignment to the town of Chelsea. Opening sometime in the late 1930s, the Chelsea Motel, with its 6 rooms, was a fixture on the Mother Road in Oklahoma. The neon sign was added in 1947. She closed in 1976. A lot of folks ask me why I care about abandoned buildings like this. It's because I imagine all the lives that passed through here. What were their dreams? Where were they heading? What had they left behind? From Chelsea, we head southwest to Catoosa, Oklahoma. Hugh Davis sculpted this blue whale for his wife Zelta in 1970. It was open to the public from the early 1970s until 1988, around the time Hugh and Zelda passed away. It has now been completely restored and again is open to the public. From Catoosa, we enter the city of Tulsa, and on the west edge we come to the Arkansas River. First opened in 1917, the beautiful 11th Street Bridge was one of the longest concrete structures at that time and a critical link for crossing the Arkansas River. Cyrus Avery was involved in its construction as the county commissioner, the same Cyrus Avery who was the member of the federal board that developed the federal highway system in the 1920s. Avery is known as the father of Route 66 as he laid out its original alignment. In 1980, the bridge was closed to vehicle traffic, and in 2004 it was renamed the Cyrus Avery Route 66 Memorial Bridge in his honor. After crossing the Arkansas River, we head through Oklahoma to Chandler. The Chandler Phillips 66 station, also in the Cotswold Cottage Tudor design, was built in 1930 and operated by a number of different owners over the years. The station eventually closed in 1992. In 1999, the property was bought by a new owner who has been restoring the station. Just west of Chandler, we come to the town of Luther and a historical site. Using local sandstone from his family's farm, Alan Threatt built this craftsman-style filling station in 1915. When Route 66 was established and passed right in front of the station, it became a popular roadside stop for travelers and locals alike. Here, Alan's son Ulysses checks a traveler's car. From the teens to the 1950s, the Threatt filling station was one of the few places on the Mother Road that was welcoming to people of color. When I stopped by in 2015, this 2008 Obama campaign poster was in the window. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And if you have any questions about any of the things we've covered so far, you can put those in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thank you for watching. See you next time and stay safe.